Today we're going to talk about the State Blueprint, which is a tool on CEEDAR's Network Improvement Community. You can access the blueprint by simply clicking the Tools tab on the left-hand panel of the NIC and clicking Blueprint. That'll bring you to this launch page for the blueprint, where it'll have two options. You can create a new state-level goal, or you can access all the goals that have already been created within a particular area. So let's click on one of these as an example. Okay, so you can see the blueprint for preparation perform, and our example is the University of Utah. So if you're a part of the University of Utah, this is what you would see on your screen. You would see the goals, the objectives, and the tasks. So goals and objectives are statewide. So that means they're visible to everyone who's in your state. Every agency, whether it's a university, a college, or the state education agency, is going to be able to see the common goals and objectives. But what's particular to your agency are tasks. So as you can see, all these tasks down here, only people from the University of Utah are going to see these. So for example, you can't switch between these, but just as an example, if I was the Utah SEA, I don't see those tasks there. So let's go back to our example of the University of Utah. All right, so our blueprint is made up of goals, objectives, and tasks, and we're going to go over each one of those individually. The first thing we're going to go over is the top level, which is goals. Goals are created usually at state planning meetings. They're not the kind of things that you would just do on your own. But let's say that you're at one of those meetings, you want to click create a new goal. So just to remind you, this is going to be a goal that's common between all the agencies in your state. So you're going to pick which area that goal is in. You can pick a due date for that goal. You'll type in a title for that goal, description. Your screen is just going to have your particular state and agencies. So for this one, it would say Utah. So you'll click on Utah, and then click Create. And it's going to create a goal, a statewide goal for Utah. Okay, so then once you've created a goal, only the goal will be there, and you'll need to add objectives to that goal. Just the same, you're going to want to add a due date. Obviously, for particular objectives, the due date for those objectives is probably going to be before the due date for the goal. So do that. Same sort of deal as the goal, but then something that's unique to this one is you can upload a file to it, or you can add a deliverable to it. So a deliverable is something that is concretely attached to this task. So that means if you have some objective that's going to yield some tangible product, you can add that deliverable here. And then you're going to want to assign someone as a user for this particular objective. We'll just use Blue CEEDAR guy as an example. And by default, all agencies are assigned to that task. Then you would click Submit, and you'd have an objective there. The next thing we're going to talk about is the task. The task is the components that make up each particular objective. And they're probably the most important part of the whole system, so we'll go over them a little bit in detail. So looking at this individual blueprints objective, let's add a sample task to it by clicking Add Task. We're going to go to the task panel, select which objective this task corresponds to, which is selected right there. Pick a due date for that task. Again, it probably should be due before the objective is due, so keep that in mind. Still type in the title and the description for this task. And again, you can add any files or deliverables to this task that you would like to. And the next thing that you're going to need to do is assign a particular user to this task. So who within your organization is going to be in charge of completing this task? If it's a collaborative effort, you can click multiple people, but keep in mind that one person still needs to be the lead user, the person that's ultimately in charge of that task. So once you've described the task and you've assigned either multiple people or one people and assigned a lead user to it, click Submit. Now you have gone to the task page, and it's going to say the title and the description, if there's any deliverables. And here, anyone who's a user within that agency can add comments to this task. For instance, I can help with this task. And as you can see, my user account added that comment there. And here on the task details, you can say whether the task is in progress or whether the task is closed, which means completed. You can also go back to edit, and it's going to go back to the page we were just on, where you can edit all the particulars of that task or attach any files to the task that you need to. And that is the CEEDAR Network Improvement Communities Blueprint.